Hello everyone, welcome to lecture 4 Introduction to Power System Protection. Topics covered in previous lecture: protective zones, primary and backup protection. So the protective zone is defined as the part of power system which is protected by a certain protective scheme. So the scheme is to provide the isolation of the faulty part quickly without disturbing the system, and to achieve this the entire power system is divided into several protective zones. Let's see. So here what we can see is that this is a typical line diagram where we have a generator, bus bar, transformer. Again we have a bus bar, and this is the transmission line. So for each of the equipments there is a zone created. So this is called a generator zone, bus bar zone, transformer zone, and this is a transmission line zone. The X bar indicates the circuit breaker. So any fault which is occurring in the zone, that is within the zone, will cause the tripping of the relay and causes the opening of circuit breaker located within that zone only. If the fault takes place outside the zone, which is indicating as a blue color, it is called as external fault, which will not operate neither in the transformer zone or in the bus bar zone. So the relay is not going to operate in this case. See, even though the fault which is occurring not under any zone, the relay will not operate, and hence the protection is not provided to any of the equipment. So that will damage the healthy part of the system. So the blue part which is shown in the previous image is called as dead spot. Now how do we avoid that dead zone? So here you can see that as for each of the equipment we have different zones available. So here the transformer zone and the generator zone are going to be coincide with each other. If the fault takes place over here, then the circuit breaker of the generator zone and the transformer zone are going to trip. So the adjacent zones are overlapped so that there is no chance of existence of dead spot in the system, meaning no part of the system will be left unprotected due to overlapping. But at the same time, it is realized that if the fault takes place in the overlap portion, so as these are overlap, then more circuit breakers get tripped than the minimum necessary to disconnect the faulty part. So this is how the typical transmission zones or the equipments are protected. This is one transmission line. We have another transmission line adjacent to it. So this is a generator protection, this whole part. Again this is a transformer protection. This is a transmission line protection. Now with this we have a similar line on the left side. Now these circuit breakers are adjacent to each other now. At the same time the generator protections are also adjacent to each other. So what is happening is that if any fault takes place over here, these four circuit breakers are going to trip, making sure that both are safety. Both the generator protections are safety. So again the same picture which is representing the generator protection, the transformer protection, the high voltage switchgear protection, the transmission line protection. So this is a bus bar, and by using a bus coupler we are connecting these two transmission lines. If any one of the generator fails, this generator can provide the supply to the grid. So the next part is the primary and the backup protection. So here the backup protection or the primary protection are the two kinds of protection given to the each of the power system. So the primary protection are nothing but BDGI, and the backup protection are ACHA. So the primary protection BDGI are the first line of defense. If due to any reason these primary relays fails to operate, then the backup protection are here to clear the fault, and these are going to act as the second line of defense. So the backup relay is going to give sufficient time for the primary relay to operate. If the primary relay fails, then the backup protection is going to work. So the 90% of the faults are cleared by the primary protection. The 10% of the faults are occur due to the failure of tripping circuit breaker, failure in detection of fault in the current transformer or the power transformer. So the backup protection protects the system when the primary protection fails. So the remaining 10% of the fault is cleared with the help of a backup protection. Now what is a protective relay? A relay is a device that detects the fault and initiates the operation of the circuit breaker to isolate the defective element from the rest of the system. So relay is going to sense the fault and it's going to alarm the circuit breaker to trip, so that it's going to isolate the defective element from the healthier part of the system. Important terms of a relay. Now this is very important. This is a pickup current. So it is the minimum current in the relay coil at which the relay starts to operate. So the relay is set to a certain preset value. If that preset value is going to exceed, at that time the pickup current is going to work or the relay is going to operate. Current setting. It is often desirable to adjust the pickup current to any required value. So this is known as current setting and usually achieved by the use of tappings on the relay operating coil. This is what the current setting. We have different taps depending upon the requirement. We can tap it to any of the ranges. Plug setting multiplier, that is PSM. It is the ratio of the fault current in a relay to the pickup current. So pickup current is what? It is the current at which the relay operates. So fault current divided by the pickup current is the PSM. Time setting multiplier, the adjustment arrangement provided for setting the operation time of induction relay. So at what time the induction relay is going to operate, that is the time setting multiplier. So what happens when the relay is going to detect the fault? So once the relay is going to detect the fault, it is going to alarm the circuit breaker or send the signal to the circuit breaker so that the circuit breaker is going to trip, right? So after all the process, the relay has to reset back to its original preset value. So that is reset current. The value of the current below which the relay resets and comes back to its original state is called a reset current or a dropout. Now, the essential qualities of a protection. The basic requirement of a protective system are as follows: selectivity or a discrimination, reliability, sensitivity, stability, and fast operation. Selectivity. It is the quality of relay by which it is going to discriminate a fault in the protected section and the normal condition. It should be also able to distinguish whether the fault lies within the zone or outside the zone. Sometimes this quality of relay is also called as discrimination. Hence, the protective system should select the faulty part and disconnect only the faulty part without disturbing the healthy part of the system. Reliability. A protective system must operate reliably when a fault occurs in its zone. The failure of protective system may be due to the failure of any
one or more elements of the protective systems. Its important elements are the protective relay, circuit breaker, the voltage transformer, which is called as VT, CT is a current transformer, the wiring, the battery, etc. So to achieve a greater degree of reliability, higher, greater attention should be given to the design part, the installation part, and the maintenance, and as well as the testing of various elements of the protective system. Third one is sensitivity. A relay should operate when the magnitude of the current exceeds its preset value, that is pickup current, which we have discussed. So this is a current at which the relay is going to operate. The relay should not operate when the current is below its pickup value. A relay should sufficiently sensitive to operate when the operating current just exceeds the pickup value. The relay is going to operate only when the current exceeds a certain preset value, that is called as pickup current. So the relay is not going to operate below a preset value. Right. Stability. A protective system should remain stable even when a large current is flowing through its protective zone due to an external fault which does not lie in its zone. The concerned circuit breaker is supposed to clear the fault, that is right. But what happens is that it will not wait indefinitely if the protective scheme of the zone is in which the fault has occurred fails to operate. After preset delay, the relay will operate to trip the circuit breaker. So here stability in the sense the relay should be more stable, because whenever there is a large current flowing in the protective zone due to the external fault, the relay should be so stable that it can sense the fault and send the alarm to the circuit breaker to operate at a certain time, preset value of the relay. Fast operation. A protective system should be fast enough to isolate the faulty element of the system as quickly as possible to minimize the damage in the equipment and to maintain the stability. So stability criteria is very important, and hence the operating time of the protective system should not exceed the critical clearing time to avoid the loss of synchronism. Next is the performance of protective relays. When a fault occurs in a particular zone of the power system, the primary relay of that zone is expected to operate and initiate the isolation. That's right. The performance of the protective relay is documented by those relays that provide direct or specific evidence of operation. Relay performance is generally classified by correct operation and incorrect operation. Correct operation. The correct operation of the relay can be either wanted or unwanted, and the correct operation gives indication about the correct operation of at least one of the primary relays, operation of none of the backup relays to trip for the fault, and the proper isolation of the trouble area in the expected time. So what do you mean by correct operation and incorrect operation? Correct operation is what it indicates that the relays has to protect the system. At least one primary relay has to operate. None of the backup relays has to trip. Then it has to provide a proper isolation to the fault area. Incorrect operation. Second one, a failure, a malfunction, or an unplanned or unanticipated operation of the protective system results in incorrect operation of the relay. there can be a failure or there can be a malfunction of the relay, which is going to result in incorrect operation of the relay. The reason for incorrect operation can be any one or a combination of incorrect setting, misapplication of relays, personal errors, or equipment malfunction. Classification of protective relays. Protective relays can be classified on the basis of technology used for their construction, speed of operation, generation of development, and functions. Classification of protective relays based on technology. The relays can be broadly classified into following three categories depending upon the technology they use for the construction and operation. First one is the electromechanical relay. Second is static relay. Third one is numerical relays. Electromechanical relay. They are further classified into two categories. One is electromagnetic relay and the second one is thermal relay. The electromagnetic relay works on the principle of either electromagnetic attraction or electromagnetic induction. The electromagnetic relays working on the principle of electromagnetic attraction were developed. These relays were called as attracted armature type of electromagnetic relays. This type of relay operates through an armature which is attracted to an electromagnet or through a plunger drawn into a solenoid. Plunger type of electromagnetic relays are used for instantaneous units for detecting the overcurrent or the overvoltage condition. Attracted armature type relays were called as electromagnetic relays. So in electromechanical relay, we have two types: electromagnetic and thermal. So basically, the electromagnetic relay is going to work on the electromagnetic attraction as well as electromagnetic conduction. We have brief description of this uh, armature attracted electromagnetic relay in the next module, but it all depends upon the principle of EMI, electromagnetic induction. Right. The thermal relay utilizes the electrothermal effect of the actuating current of their operation. Now, the attracted armature type electromagnetic relays are simplest type, which responds to AC as well as DC. Initially, the attracted armature type relay were called as electromagnetic relay. Later on, induction type electromagnetic relays were developed. So, the relay contains an electromagnet and a moving part. So, when the actuating quantity exceeds, so what do you mean by actuating quantity inside? That is, it is nothing but the preset value of the current. If the current exceeds a certain predetermined value, so the torque is developed which is applied on the moving part. Now this moving part has to travel and finally close the contacts to energize the trip coil of the circuit breaker. Since both the attracted armature and the induction type electromagnetic relays operate by mechanical force generated on moving parts due to the electromagnetic forces created by the input quantities. So these relays are called as electromechanical relays. Static relays. These relay contains electronic circuitry which may include transistors, ICs, diodes and other electronic components. So these relay will have a comparator circuit which compares two or more current or voltage and gives the output which is applied to either a slave relay or a thyristor circuit. The slave relay is an electromagnetic relay which finally closes the contacts. A relay using thyristor circuit is called as static relay. Static relays possesses the advantage of having low burden on the current transformer, the voltage transformer, fast operation, absence of mechanical inertia, and contact trouble, long life, and less maintenance. They are more superior to electromechanical relays, and they are being used for protection of important lines, power station, and substations. Static relays are considered to be addition to the family of relays. Yet they are not completely replaced. Electromechanical relays continue to be used in because of their simplicity and low cost, and they have less maintenance and requires a less qualified person, whereas the static relay requires a personnel trained in solid state devices. Numerical relay. The numerical relay are the latest development in this era. The relays The relays acquires the sequential samples of the AC quantities in a digital form through the data acquisition system and process the data numerically using an algorithm to calculate the fault discrimination and make the trip precision. They are based on numerical devices such as microprocessor, microcontroller, digital signal processing. At present, the microprocessor, microcontroller based numerical relays are widely used. So these relays use different relaying algorithm to process the acquired information. The main feature of the numerical relays are their economy, compactness, compactness, flexibility, reliability, self-monitoring, and checking capability, multiple function. It has low burden on the instrument transformers and improved performance over the conventional relays of electromechanical and static relay. Classification of protective relays based on the speed operation. So we have instantaneous relay, time delay, high speed, ultra high speed. So relays which are based on speed of operation. Instantaneous. No intentional time delay is introduced to slow down their response. These relay operates as soon as a secure decision is made. Time delay. Intentional time delay is introduced between the relay decision time and the initiation of the trip action. High speed. The relay operates less than a specified time. The specified time in present practice is 60 milliseconds. That is 3 cycles on a 50 Hz system. Ultra high speed. Though this term is not included in the relay standard, but these relays are commonly considered to operate within 5 milliseconds. So how, depending upon the speed of operation of relay, this is classified as instantaneous, time delay, high speed, and ultra high speed. Thank you. We'll continue the session in the next lecture.